Hey y'all, today we're going to do a comparative analysis of EQ8, the Ableton stock EQ plugin, and FabFilter Pro Q3. So a little bit of background. I was using EQ8 for the last 4 years on everything that I was working on. And it's basically just like a bare bones EQ. It doesn't have a ton of bells and whistles, but it really just gets the job done. So I didn't think that there was much to be improved upon, I guess. I didn't see the point of switching over to a different plugin. And then about a month ago, I started demoing the EQ, or the Pro Q3 EQ plugin, and it's honestly pretty sick. So maybe I'm definitely gonna buy it. So let's look at the EQs here. So I have one of my tracks, one of my masters here in this session. So what we'll do is just play it, and we'll look at the different features of both plugins, and you can see for yourself. Okay. So EQ8. You can double click on the plugin in the Ableton window, and it gives you a nice big view of all of your audio information. It comes with 4 nodes kind of built in. First one's a shelf. Then you've got some bells. And this one is also a shelf. They're numbered, so what you do is go through. If you click one, it highlights it down here, and you can adjust aspects of your EQ. Turning up the gain, adjusting your Q, and you can also add in more nodes by turning them on, and then they show up in the corner. So it's a pretty straightforward workflow, and I guess that's why I've been using it for so many years. It just works, and you don't have to. It doesn't have a huge learning curve. Oh, there's also this feature where you can solo the node that you're working with, just to hear what it's doing to the audio information. Which I guess is pretty. I've never really used it that much, but then you can turn on and off the spectra. So yeah, that's EQ8. Sort of like a workhorse EQ. So we'll turn that off. Now, Pro Q3, open it up. You can see there's just a lot going on here already. You've got a VU meter on the side. You've got a piano roll at the bottom, which is pretty cool. You can toggle it on and off. And how it works is you turn it on, and then you just hover your mouse over the... Oh. There you go. You hover your mouse over the audio information, and it'll generate the musical notes that you're hitting. So you can see how that could be useful, right? When you're working on a track, and you can turn that off if you don't like it. My favorite thing about this plugin is this feature called, if you hover over it, it's called Spectrum Grab. And basically, as you can see, it says if you hover your mouse over, it'll automatically enter this. And what it does is you just let it sit there, and it grabs the spectra and shows you where everything's peaking. And then if you want, you can go in and basically grab a node and reduce some of that resonance. And then each node generates its own little floating thing here, where you have your own EQ control. You can can change what it is. So you've got all these things. You can turn it on and off. And you can also do a lot of this stuff here. So you can turn it back on. You can solo it. It's pretty cool. And then you can change basically the shape. Now, one thing I like about EQ8 or about Pro Q3 is it has EQ capabilities that EQ8 doesn't come with. So for example, this is the one I've been using a lot since I got it. Basically, it is like a tilt. So you can adjust the frequency balance of a track or a group of tracks using this tilt control, which is pretty powerful. Sometimes, you just want to reduce a little bit of the bass, but you don't want to like impact the mix too much. You can just kind of toss it in there. It's pretty nice. Yeah, and then the cool thing is that you have like two you have two like pieces of information that you're grabbing all the time with this. First is you have your standard spectra, right? But then once you start applying EQ, you get the ghost, basically. So you see where it was before in the background, and then you see what your EQing is actually doing to the signal. So it gives you a lot of visual information to work with. And I find that a pretty compelling feature because, yeah, of course you should be using your ears when you're mixing, but sometimes your ears are only so powerful in terms of understanding what the work is that you're doing, especially in the low end. Like, I know a lot of us don't have the most accurate bass referencing available to us, right? So when you're looking at bass frequencies, it's useful to see what's going on when you're messing with EQ, and what 3 decibels kind of actually impacts, There's a lot more to this EQ. There's like a multi-band or like a dynamic EQ function here as well that I haven't really messed with that much, but so far I'm finding that just these features that I've outlined already have sold me on this plugin 100%. Now, another thing that's really interesting about this is that you can have multiple instances of Pro Q3 across your mix. So say you have one of them on your drums, one of them on your bass, one of them on your guitar, or you have 2 guitars. Then what you can do is use this thing called show collisions. And show collisions, basically, you toggle it on and it will show you if you have frequencies that are colliding with one another in your mix that could potentially be causing masking. Obviously this isn't like a replacement for listening to your mix, but if you're importing a track with, say, like 150 different instruments, or you're just starting out on a mix, you can toss the Pro Q3 on to a bunch of different instances or groups, and then you can see what's going on pretty quickly, see if there's buildup, and just go and quickly tackle that first, right? So I think, these are just some really smart features that are the reason why pros are using this. So with that, I'm going to end this little comparison video. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other stuff, give me a like, share this with your friends are into producing, and yeah, thanks so much. Peace.